Hi, this is Don Schaefer. I'm happy to be with you once again. This week I'm excited because we're going to be talking about a topic I think that's going to really help you expand and get things done in your life. I know we've been talking about different ways of looking at things with the understanding that we create our future. This is something that I think our Creator has designed us for. He's designed us with a plan in mind, and it's up to us to work the plan. And I know we've been working on a lot of different ways of seeing ourselves in life and trying to promote ourselves and encourage ourselves and develop momentum and understand the passion and enthusiasm and everything that's needed. But this week we're going to talk a little bit about getting results. And I'm going to start with James chapter 2 verse 17, a scripture here. It says, "Thus also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. You know, a lot of times people say, I'm a believer and I have faith, but if there's no action involved, it is dead. It doesn't mean a thing. And so it's important for us to realize that we need to be believers. We need to have faith in ourselves, faith in our Creator, faith in the fact that we have a purpose in life, and try to get some results in our life. And I got a quote here from Johnny Carson. It says, "My success just evolved from working hard at the business at hand each day." So he worked at the business at hand each day and he became successful. And a lot of times in life, that is just exactly the process that we live. We take what we put plans together and we work the plan and we try to better ourselves every day. And eventually we become the person that we were designed to do. Our dreams come true, our plans come true, and we become and fulfill the purpose that we were designed for. And it's so important. And that's where to get results, we have to understand that successful people are always active. They're always busy doing something. So the first point I want to share with you this week is you need to be able to sell yourself. You need to be able to sell yourself. Not only sell yourself to others, but also to yourself. We decide what we can and cannot do. And a lot of times we have to become great salesmen. To get results, we have to not only sell ourselves to people so that they can believe in us, so that we can obtain the things we need in life, but we also have to sell ourselves to ourselves. We have to believe that we can do this, we can work things in our life and can achieve things in life. And so many times we sell ourselves short. We say, use the word can't. Can't shouldn't be a part of our language. We should always be able to do the things that we desire in life. It's just a matter of finding the way of how to do it. Okay, many become insecure and stagnant because they are not trying to increase their value. Okay, we become insignificant, we become stagnant, we become insecure because we haven't developed a value in life. Part of true happiness in life and content in life is finding ourselves valuable. That's why it's always good to help people with things, to work on different projects, whatever, because what it does, it gives you a form of self-worth, and you develop the securities and you start to feel good about yourself. And that's where a part of selling yourself is developing that type of attitude. I talked to a CEO about retirement one time. This is a while back. A CEO of a company, and this person here was having a hard time with retirement because her value was in her work. This is where she is valuable. And a lot of people struggle in life. And I often tell them that if you reach a point where you have to leave a job because of retirement or whatever it is, you need to find something else that you can be valuable in. I know some of the most miserable people in the world are people who might be even rich and sell their business and have absolutely nothing to do, nothing to develop value in their life anymore. Many big business people who have sold their businesses for millions, if not billions of dollars, wouldn't need to work a day in their life, but after they retire or leave the business for a period of time, they're looking for something because they can't be happy with yourself. Life, for us to be happy, we have to continue to grow. We have to continue to grow ourselves, continue to build value in our lives. That's where to get results in our life, we have to realize it's a building process and we have to continue to try to build value into our lives. And next point I have is your personal reputation is your most valuable asset. Your personal reputation is your most valuable asset. It's a reputation of who you are. It defines you and how others perceive you. You know, your reputation, as far as how you do things and whatever, it defines who you are to other people. But one thing your reputation does is gives you a label. And a lot of times we label ourselves. And if somebody tells us we're no good, well, then we label ourselves as being no good, and we tend to do not so good things. But if we can do good and put the effort in and try to get people happy with what we're doing, we will get good comments back, and we will label ourselves in a good way. And this is powerful because this is very motivating. I remember one time I worked in a manufacturing plant, and I used to have to walk through the stockroom area at lunchtime. And when I walked through the stockroom area, I would take notice. I came into work, I'd take notice. When I walked out at lunchtime, I'd take notice of the work being done. And I would make comments and tell them how great they were doing. How this, they're just doing a fantastic job. Put a lot of parts away. This place really looks good. And it was to the point where they were looking forward to me walking through because they knew that I was encouraging them and saying things. And it was an area that whatever I needed, they were there for me. I could get results working with that crew because I worked with that crew and I labeled them as hard workers. So they wanted to be hard workers. They wanted to maintain that label. And it's the same thing in all of us. People lift us up and whatever. It's powerful because what happens is we develop a reputation, and not only with other people, but with ourselves. We look at ourselves in a different way. You are known by God and man by your reputation. Always in demand by God. A lot of times too, we are always in demand by God and the purpose that He has. We develop a reputation. I know there's people that will always do what they say they'll do. They will always be committed, and I have no problems working with them. Some are not so much that way. And they develop a reputation. And even to this day, there's people in my life that I will not go to with an issue or something that needs to be done because I just know. They've developed a reputation in my mind. And that's where it's important for each of us to realize that everything in every part of life, we develop a reputation of whether we're going to be good and consistent or on the other side where they can't depend on us. And to get results in life, we need to develop a good reputation. Everything you do should be to improve the quality of your reputation. You work hard, you're committed, you got a lot of drive in your life, you're sincere in what you do, you're eager, you're enthusiastic. All of this here gives you and develops the reputation of who you are. Next point is being able to work at all the time you work. Being able to work all the time you work. This is interesting too. Most people have a lazy habit and only work half the time. Becoming consumed by the project in front of you, you want results. See, so many times in life we have a lot of wasted fluff time. We have time where we're not really putting in the effort and we want results. And I know myself, I've taken time management courses and I've learned, they taught us in there how to manage your time inside your office area. And I know one of the things I thought was kind of humorous to me was, he said, if somebody comes into your office and wants to talk and you want to get some results, you want to get something done, if you lay down everything and sit back and look at them and talk with them, they will stay with you and they will talk with you. However, if you stay busy and you maybe answer them and you're polite in what you answer, but you stay working, they will get the message. They will get the message and they'll say, well, you know what, I better not stick around here because Don is busy right now. And that's where when you become results oriented, you realize that you have to put your effort in, and it's got to be a consistent effort. It isn't you don't allow people to steal your time, and you don't waste your time. It's interesting how some people, they get locked into a project, they just continue to work on it. I know my mother was one of these people. And I remember, different projects she did for me. One time we had a camper that needed new upholstery, and we got the material, and she was very good at sewing and upholstery type work. And she took this on, and my dad came up to me. He says, "Man," he says, "your mother's been staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning working on this upholstery." See, I didn't need it all done that quick, but she was a type that when she got on a project, she stayed with it and she worked on it until the thing was complete. You know, this is where we manage our time, and to be able to work all the time is important if we want to get great results in our life. Next point I have is how to find more free time. Okay, so now we're talking about free time here. Okay, time cannot be stretched. It is not elastic. It's interesting. So many times people say, you know, I just don't have the time to do this. Or somebody's successful because they have more time to work on things. Well, you know, we all have the same 24 hours of time. You know, when the clock strikes midnight, it's over. You know, we can't stretch anything. Everybody since the beginning of time has had 24 hours of time to achieve. Some people learn how to manage their time. And some people, by being able to manage their time and getting the work and the projects and the things they need done, can allow themselves to have free time. Or you can work on projects that can pay you money. It's interesting also, I worked with a gentleman named John, and he told me one time, he says, time is money. The more you work on a project, the more you develop and get money into your life. Eventually, what will happen is you'll be able to pay for stuff to be done rather than using your time to pay to get things done. And then you can have your free time. You can do what you want to do because you've developed enough money so that you can get certain things done. Until you reach that point, you got to work. And I know I said in an earlier lesson that there's a couple ways of looking at life. You can either pay now and play later, or you can play now and pay later. But if you have to pay later, it's going to cost you a whole lot more, because a lot of times when you reach the point where you have to pay, you're not in a position to make the money that you need to be able to pay or play. So going on, it says the only thing you can do is to find ways to free up time to do the important things. We all have the same 24 hours. The only thing we can do if we want free time is try to find a way inside the 24 hours to free up some time to do certain areas. And I know in life, if you can put lists together, which we're going to talk a little bit more about here in this lesson, you can put lists together, it can be a real time saver because you waste no time. You look at the things you need to do and you start clocking them off, and pretty soon you're seeing yourself getting the results you want. And a lot of times you even have extra time after that. There are so many times I'm working on a project thinking, oh my goodness, I schedule a whole half day or whatever to do the project, but I jump into it and I work hard at it and apply myself, and I find, well, my goodness, it only took me a couple hours to get this done. I've got 3 hours now that I can do something with and have some fun, maybe take Shirley out for lunch or whatever it might be. But anyway, we'll move on to the next point. Your values and beliefs can be known by how you spend your time. Your values and beliefs can be known by how you spend your time. How important things are to you is measured in time. Your decision on time usage dictates what you really want in life. To get good results, you need to spend more time on what matters. And that's where our time really does show what we value, because we tend to spend more time on things that we value the most. And a lot of times, if we're to be successful in life, we need to have solid goals, and we have to have an understanding of what needs to be done and a plan of how to achieve that. And that might not give us a whole lot of time for maybe the baseball games or other events and things that we might sometimes do, and a lot of people do. You know, and how we spend our time really does dictate what's valuable to us. If your goal isn't that valuable, you'll have time for a lot of things. I know myself, I tried to schedule myself in such a way that I don't allow people to steal time. You know, because a lot of times what happens is people will try to tap into your time to get you to do certain things. And it's good to help people. Don't get me wrong on this. But it isn't good when it robs you from your goals and what's important in your life. And a lot of times in a very kind way, I tell people, you know, I can do this, but you're going to have to wait until this time for me to fit it in, because at the time you want to do it, I've got things going on. I've got things that I'm doing right now that are important to me. And usually people are very flexible, and time is like money. You're only given so much of it, and you need to spend it wisely. And so many times we get our time wasted in different areas, and we end up with no time to do the things that we really need to do. And we want to get results in our life. Our life should be full of results. I know I'd like to tell young people when they're in school to use their time wisely. It's a time of learning. There are certain times in life, and you need to value the position you're in at the time you're in it. And if you're in school, you need to realize that you need to apply yourself and use that time to learn and do whatever you need to do to get a degree, to get to a certain level in life. That time is precious. And even after that, we grow ourselves. My time is very precious to me. There's certain things I do, at certain times I read, there's times I journal, I study, there's times I do stuff like this. My time is valuable, and I try to make it valuable, and the people around me know that I have valuable time, and that's where my whole beliefs and everything can be shown by the value that I put on the time that I spend. I do things, we have fun, we do stuff, we go camping, we have a lot of different fun with our friends, but I schedule time for that. So I make sure that I'm getting the results I want in my life. I'm not sitting there allowing my life just to fall into a basket of whatever happens. No, I've got a plan, and you need a plan to achieve things in life. My next point is what is needed to create the future you really want. What is needed to create the future you really want? So this is something where you need to really envision yourself. The future you really want. What is it that you want? What type of results do you want to see? A lot of times what we need is a vision for our life. If we wanted to if our life was to turn out perfect in every way, and we've figured out what matters in life. I talked about that a few lessons ago, figuring out what really matters in your life. What is it that you would like to see in your life? What would you like to create? What would it look like? It's important. If we want results in our life, we should have a clue. I know when I go traveling, I use a map, or I use my GPS on my phone, but I have a plan of how to get there so that I don't get lost, so I don't get sidetracked. I don't take side roads or whatever it is. I take the road that's necessary to get me where I am, because my results are to get to the place that I'm going and driving to. I don't want anything sidetracking me. So it's good for us to understand what we really do want, and what kind of results do you want in life after it's all said and done. What type of results? We're talking about how to get results. What type of results do you want? We in areas of life, there's many parts to it. There's your spiritual, there's your physical, there's your financial, there's your relationship, there's all kinds of parts. There's your working part of life. What type of results do you want in these areas? And what type of plan, what type of vision do you have to obtain these? Because what happens is we gravitate. There's a law of attraction. We are attracted to the results that we think of and can possibly write down that we want to get after. And, these are the results that we want to get. So it's very important to be able to envision what we were wanting to do. And, in America, less than 3% of the people have a long-term perspective in life. Less than 3% have a long-term, real solid plan for what they want. You talk about getting results. How can you ever expect to get results in your life if you don't even have a plan of what you want in life and how to get it? You can say, my life is just going nowhere. Well, the reason it's not going nowhere reason it's going nowhere is because you have no plan to go anyplace. Once you can establish something and envision something and get yourself in a position where this is what I want and these are the type of results I want, you won't settle for anything less. You will be working on this, and you'll be laying out plans, because I am on a mission. And that's what creates excitement in life. That's what, people that say they're bored and that, life is just not making them happy. It's a lot of times because they don't have any real plan, and they wouldn't know results if results came to them, because they haven't really set something up. It's important to be able to visualize what you truly do want in life. Next point I have is being able to focus and concentrate on your priorities. Okay, yeah, being able to focus, staying focused until the project is complete. In James, again, it says in chapter 1, verse 8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You know, you need to be single-minded. This is what's important. These are my priorities. I am going to stay focused on it until I achieve this thing. You know, we can't be double-minded, wish-washy, and whatever. This week I'm doing this, next week I'm doing that. This does not cut it when it comes to getting results in your life. You need to get one thing that this is important to me, and I'm going after that. Having the ability to set clear priorities and the power of a task list, getting results oriented. Again, putting a list together. These are things I want to do. These are things I need to achieve. I know myself. I've purchased properties. I've fixed up properties. And I've gone through some of my old paperwork recently, and I look back at the plans I laid out every week. We bought this old farmhouse, and we picked it up like in September, and my plan was to be there in April of the next year. And I had every week laid out and what I wanted to have done. You know, as far as we had to tear out all the drywall had to be taken out of the place. We had to rewire the place. We had to get a furnace guy in there to put new ductwork inside the place. We had to plumb it. We had to have plumbers in there. They had to do the pre-plumbing. Then we got drywallers back in there to hang new drywall in. They finished all that stuff out. We got the electricians in with electrical. We got the plumbers in. They did the final plumbing. We got the flooring people in. We got the windows put into this. We put the roof in. But I laid it all out. I laid a plan together. I put the weeks, the dates, everything that I need, that I at the time felt I needed to hit to make this project work. And it amazed me. I sat back after it was all said and done. Everything I needed to get in there by April was done. We were in there by April. You know, we did a lot of work, but it seemed like we had a plan. And my life was just flowing. It was busy. It was busy, don't get me wrong, but it was just flowing and everything. You know, I know Shirley was going after materials, and we were calling people, making sure everything was according to plan. But this is the way you get results. This is the way, whatever the circumstance might be, whatever you might be doing, you need to put a plan together and you work that plan. You make it your top priority, you concentrate on it, and make sure that it happens, and you step it through. Okay, last point I have is learning to ask yourself the right questions. What are my highest valued activities? You know, ask yourself the right questions. Because so many times in life, people get to a point in life where they might not even want to be where they're at. They never even really took the time to say, is this what I really want? You know, and there's nothing worse than that, than to have wasted bunches of time, groups of time, decades maybe, of time that you could have been getting great results and getting something that you really want. Okay, what results must I have? In life, what results must I have? If I'm going to be successful, if I'm going to feel happy, if I'm going to feel like I've reached my purpose in life. And what is the most valuable use of my time right now to achieve? These are important questions that we need to ask ourselves. And a lot of times people fall short of all that. I love the story of Sylvester Stallone. And I don't know if you guys know the story or not, but when he was young, he wanted to be an actor. And he was getting turned down, and he didn't have any money. And I know the story goes that he ended up selling his wife's jewelry, and his wife left him, and he ended up selling his dog. You know, he didn't want to take on any type of job because he wanted to be an actor. He eventually went into a library to get warm because it was wintertime in the New York area. And in the library, he got inspired. And then he seen the Muhammad Ali fight, I guess it was against Chuck Wepner. And he got the idea for Rocky. And it took him about 3 days to script Rocky. And he ended up selling it, or he wanting to sell it. And they wanted the script, but they didn't want him to be the star actor. And he says that the only way you're going to get it is if I'm the star actor. So he stuck with it. Eventually, and that movie was a tremendous success, and he's had many successful movies afterwards. But it showed a man that knew what he wanted. He knew the results he wanted in life. and he put the effort into it, and he wasn't going to settle for anything less. And that's the same thing we need in our life. To get results, we got to know what we're going after, and we need to put a plan together. We need to dictate our time, use our time wisely to achieve all that, and set ourselves in a time frame for success. And if we reach one area and get results in one area, we just go on to the next project and continue. And that's where people become successful in life. A lot of times it starts off in a little area, but it continues to move on. Well, I do have some action items again for you. And these are, number one, ask yourself and write down just what is expected of you. What's expected of you? What do you expect of your life? Write those things down. Number two, set priorities on how you can work on the best use of your time. Okay, what is the best use of my time? Is there time where it's fluff time? A lot of times, just to add to it, what we're saying here, I always tell people you can bring something into your life 15 hours a day. I mean, 15 hours a day, 15 minutes a day. That's all you have to do is take 15 minutes and start doing something. You know, in 4 days, you've got yourself an hour into it. It's amazing what you can get done in life by just doing and putting aside 15 minutes a day. Number three, identify useless tasks in your life that you might want to stop doing. Areas that are just eating up your time, that are not really helping you get the results that you want, and getting rid of those. And number four, finding ways to stay focused and to be able to concentrate on the task at hand. So keep ways, maybe I need to put down a plan, a written plan, or maybe a picture, a vision of what results I want in my life, but find ways that I can stay focused so I don't lose track, I don't allow days, weeks, months, years, decades go by and not really achieve anything with my life. Well, I hope this helps you get a greater understanding of how to get results in your life. And I want to close here in a little prayer, if you join with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord. We thank you that our lives can be full of results, Lord, that you will allow us to prioritize our time, that we can be dedicated into seeking and achieving goals in life, that you'll give each one of us a vision of what's important, and that we can continue to glorify you in all that we do. In your precious name, we always pray. Amen. Thank you so much for being with me. I will see you again next week. Thank you.